The Cyberamic characters from Chuck E. Cheese are now an important part of animatronic history. Over the last 4 decades, they have evolved significantly in design and technology, becoming a key element in the company's entertainment. In this video, I'll cover the fascinating history of Cyberamics, where it started, how it evolved, and what made it a unique part of the company. The origins of the Cyberamic Animatronics can be traced back to the early, crudely made portrait bots and the problems they caused for the company. These original bots, used in the first 2 Pizza Time Theater restaurants, exhibited noticeable inconsistencies from one location to the next. Variations included differences in character clothing, snout shapes, head proportions, and eye designs, largely due to the absence of standardized molds or production techniques during the early development phase. As the chain began planning for rapid expansion, these inconsistencies created challenges for brand identity and maintenance. To address this, the Cyberamic Animatronics were developed as a standardized, cost-effective solution designed with mass production in mind. The Cyberamics used more uniform materials and streamlined manufacturing processes. This shift ensured visual and functional consistency across all locations, while also simplifying repairs and reducing production costs, key factors in supporting the company's national expansion plans. In May 1979, the first Cyberamics were installed at the 3rd Pizza Time Theater in Concord, California, on a portrait shelf stage. Several more shows featuring the bots were installed at other restaurants throughout the year. Some photos of these early Cyberamics, such as the set displayed at the Sacramento, California restaurant, reveal what the original characters looked like. The animatronics featured cosmetics more reminiscent of the prototype iterations seen at the first 2 San Jose restaurants, also featuring different fur. The Jasper animatronics mask also lacked the wrinkles present in later variations. Footage from the Huntington Beach, California restaurant, which had the 3rd set of Cyberamics installed, shows the Chucky animatronic performing. This footage appears to show different arm mechanisms for the characters. For the restaurant's cabaret rooms, a large animatronic, built with a similar base to the main characters and featuring new arm movements, was created. It was initially used for the Dolly Dimples character during its early years. Later, the bot's cosmetics were swapped at various locations to transform it into other characters, such as Artie Antlers and BB Bubbles. More advanced designs for the Cyberamic animatronics, featuring updated cosmetics and more sophisticated mechanics, made their debut sometime in 1980. Also in 1980, with the introduction of the new balcony stage show, standard Cyberamics were used for the Pasquale and Munch characters, as their arm mechanisms were no longer connected to stage doors. In late 1980, additional unique sets of Cyberamics were built for the lounge sections of the restaurants. These characters were produced without built-in eyes. The prototype of these characters, used for the first variation of the Beagles, made its debut in an Arlington, Texas restaurant in October 1980. The finalized characters were later used for the standardized Beagles show, the 4 Little Shavers, and the Beach Bowsers. Around this time, their first full-bodied Cyberamic, which was 9 feet tall, was created for a lounge character called the King. Building on these new variations and innovations, Pizza Time Theater went on to mass-produce hundreds of Cyberamic animatronics. which were shipped to new and existing locations throughout the early 1980s. The Cyberamics quickly became a recognizable staple of the Pizza Time Theater experience. During this growth period, the company invested more heavily in show development, experimenting with both new character concepts and full-bodied animatronics. Pizza Time Theater eventually began experiencing mounting financial difficulties due to rapid expansion and the expenses associated with developing and maintaining new technology. As profits tightened, the company started looking for better ways to cut costs, including scaling back research and development and reducing manufacturing expenses for its Cyberamic Animatronics. In November 1983, production of the Cyberamics ceased, and the Cyberamics division continued operating only as a maintenance facility. As Pizza Time Theater's financial issues worsened, restaurants that opened afterward either used leftover Cyberamics from production, closed locations, or featured animatronic shows made by other companies. After Pizza Time Theater filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in March 1984, they were bought by Showbiz Pizza Place, and their headquarters and Cyberamic facilities moved to Irving, Texas. After the acquisition by Showbiz Pizza Place, the company continued experimenting with the existing bots to create new shows. However, the Cyberamic characters were not returned to full production. The company began experimenting with full-bodied animatronics again. In February 1987, the first public version of these full-bodied bots made its debut with a new rocker stage setup. At the Pizza Time Theater in Arlington, Texas, the Chucky, Jasper, and Helen bots were given legs, while the Pasquale and Munch characters remained half-bodied. Showbiz Pizza Time continued installing legs on existing bots and creating new parts and cosmetics for them. However, Showbiz Pizza Time Incorporated did not add any new movements to the Cyberamics when they were given legs for the rocker stages. 3 years later, in 1990, the road stage made its debut, and all of the characters returned to being half-bodied, except for the Chucky Cyberamic. Alongside the new stage format, cosmetic updates were introduced, most notably to the Helen Cyberamic, who received a complete redesign and refurbished outfit and mask, as well as Chucky, who was given a modernized look to better fit the company's evolving brand image. In 1991, Showbiz Pizza Time Incorporated commissioned Kinetics Group Incorporated to develop new Cyberamics for their restaurants. This would be the first time new Cyberamics were produced since 1983. Kinetics manufactured the Cyberamics with only a few changes, like the modification of Munch and Pasquale's arm movements to accommodate their keyboard and drum set, and some other small additions to the movements and designs. The main 5 animatronics all used a standardized head and body mech, like Pizza Time Theater did, to allow for generous usage of parts. Each bot was internally distinguished by its arm mechanisms, eye color, eyelid color, and whether it had a head-up movement. In 1992, 2 stages and 1 stages began to be installed at Chuck E. Cheese restaurants. This new show involved the addition of legs to existing Cyberamic bots, and the new bots by Kinetics Group. In 1993, Kinetics Group Incorporated stopped production of Cyberamic bots, and the Chuck E. Cheese company hired Animation World to create future bots. In 1997, Animation World stopped producing new Cyberamic animatronics, following the introduction of the Studio C Alpha stage, which featured a completely redesigned show format that no longer used the original Cyberamics. Despite halting full animatronic production, The company continued manufacturing replacement parts and updated cosmetics for existing units, ensuring restaurants could keep their older Cyberamics operational. By the early 2000s, only minor cosmetic updates were made to existing animatronic bots, aiming to keep them in line with evolving brand aesthetics. One notable update came in 2002 with the introduction of the Cool Chuck outfit, which replaced the traditional tuxedos worn by the Chucky Cyberamics. This was followed by the release of the Avenger outfit in 2008. Despite these visual updates, no major overhauls were made to the animatronic systems themselves. The final restaurant to open, featuring the original Cyberamic bots, was located in Plaza Oeste, Chile, and opened in January 2011. In 2017, a major remodel known as 2.0 led to the removal of animatronics from all locations. For a while, it seemed like the end of an era for the classic Cyberamics. However, in 2023, it was announced that a set of Cyberamics at the Northridge, California restaurant would be preserved. Today, multiple Cyberamic stages across the country have been designated as permanent installations, celebrating the legacy of these iconic animatronics.